Yeah.
Are we all set? We're live? Okay. Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome.
Trustee Cheney?
Here.
Trustee Foster?
Here?
Mayor Newhart?
Here.
Trustee Lindberg?
Here.
Trustee McKnight?
Here.
Stephen Gather?
Present.
Mike Mosier?
Here.
Okay. Tonight, on the agenda, we have a resolution adopting a new comprehensive master plan. This was a year-and-a-half process guided by our planning consultant, Peter Fairweather, as well as Alta Planning and Design for issues dealing with transportation, connectivity, and mobility. I want to thank the committee because of just the diverse voices and who really worked through the process of creating this vision. And I just want to mention their names. The committee included Barry Cheney, who was the committee chairman, Judy Batista, resident at large, community, cultural, and mental health advocate, Elizabeth Bourne, resident at large, Scott Brown, zoning board of appeals, Rosemary Cooper, Albert Wisner library, Jack Ellis, the Warwick Valley Historical Society, Matthew Finn, architectural and historic review board, Carly Foster, community together, village trustee, Corinne Iarada, Warwick Valley Chamber of Commerce, Robert M. Kennedy III, resident at large, Town Planning Board, Tom McKnight, Village of Warwick Planning Board and Village Trustee, Susan Metzger, resident at large. I just want to make a couple comments. The plan that we updated was actually, that process was, one of the committee members was Roger Metzger, who, the late Roger Metzger, Susan's husband. So it's nice to have that sense of continuity, and she's an extraordinary woman who brings a lot to the table. And I also want to mention Carly and Tom. I believe that the Comprehensive Plan Committee was really their intro Village 101 on some level. And I'm hoping that it was part of what piqued their interest to running as trustees. So I think that it's definitely was a fun committee to be on. We worked very hard, and I believe the outcome shows it. But I'm very proud of this work that was accomplished and the vision that it presents. Out of this document will be the creation of tasks and other committees. And this is an important piece because we want a living, organic, acting document, not something that sits on the shelf. And that's what I think this presents. It presents clear goals with intended results. And that is something I think that us as a board, we have this wonderful working tool. Some of the critical topics that the plan addressed are a sense of place and a sense of history, abundant and diverse economic opportunities, an inclusive community of economic, ethnic, and social diversity, strong residential neighborhoods, celebration of arts, culture, and civic life, sustainability and resilience in the face of climate change, physical infrastructure to support and sustain village life in an effective and affordable manner. Along the way, there were many lessons that we learned and skills gained. The silver lining of that year-and-a-half experience, we were doing it in the midst of COVID, but we were able to use the tool of Zoom, and it really worked because people could be participant, and it was less schedule less of a concern about schedules. So that really, I think, worked, and we gained that ability to really reach out. But outreach, I think, was something that was really key to the committee and key to the creation of this document. We did not just set up meetings and expect people to come. We reached out to different groups that sometimes might not be heard or might not have the ability to come to a meeting. And so we created these forums, these listening forums. And I think that that was the greatest thing that we did, because I think it taught us all how important it is to do that type of outreach, not just for a comp plan, but for everything that we do as a board. And I know in this coming year, we've been talking about having listening sessions with different groups throughout the community. And I know that that's going to happen because it's very important for us to hear directly from the folks that live here, whether it's residents in a neighborhood or business people, whatever they're coming from. If they are part of a group, we're going to try to do that outreach continually. And again, I want to thank the committee, and I want to thank Peter Fairweather. It was his leadership and his skill that really helped create this document. And when I first met with Peter, I tasked him, and I said, I don't want something that is like all the other comprehensive master plans that sit on a shelf and they get resurrected in 10 years and people say, oh, well, look what we didn't do. So he understood that, and I think also the committee understood that to create, again, a document that really challenged us. It challenges us to do things that will that are outlined in this plan. So again, thank you to the committee, thank you to Peter, and it was definitely a great experience. So.
Thank you. Thank you to you for providing the leadership on that.
Well, and thank you to Barry, because he was the chair, and definitely it was great. So then,
Many shepherds shepherd a large flock.
right. It wasn't like herding cats. It was really,
No, definitely not.
it was definitely a lot of very strong, good, strong, positive personalities. So we do have a public hearing, and if you would read the public notice,
Sure.
Raina.
Please take notice that the Village Board of the Village of Warwick will hold a public hearing on the 19th day of December 2022 at 7:30 p.m. at Village Hall, 77 Main Street, Warwick, New York, 10990, on a proposed local law entitled "A Local Law to Amend the Village Code by Revising the Table of Uses in the Zoning Code to add residential apartments above commercial space as permitted use in the light industrial LI district, conditional upon planning board approval." The purpose of this local law is to promote the public health, safety, and welfare by amending Chapter 145 of the Village Code entitled Zoning to more fully conform to the provisions and tenets of the village's comprehensive plan by allowing residential apartments over commercial space in the LI zoning districts. A copy of the proposed local law is on file in the office of the village clerk and available for inspection by interested persons during village clerk's business hours. The proposed local law has also been posted on the village's website, www.villageofwarwick.org. The village board will, at the above date and time and place, hear all persons interested in the subject matter hereof. Persons may appear in person or by agent. All written comments addressed to the village board must be received by the village board at or prior to the public hearing.
And did you receive any comments?
No.
Okay, we'll open it up to the public. Would you like to comment on?
No, I'm okay. Just gonna listen and see who else had any comments. It seems there are none.
I think that I'll just comment that in the shadow of the comprehensive master plan, this is one of the tasks that we discussed, and it's nice that it becomes a reality. I believe it will become a reality once the board votes on it. But I think it definitely is a direction that's important for this growing village. So.
I would say again, if it's a step in the right direction towards the middle housing. I don't know if I need to say this for the record or my name.
Well, you should say your name.
Sorry, Robert Kennedy, Warwick, New York. But I think it leads towards that middle housing component. which is important. So I think maybe further down the road, we look at that a little harder to create zoning that allows that in more depth, rather than just second and third story.
Yeah, very good. Any other comments from the board? A motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to accept the following reports: November 2022, the Clerk's Office, Justice Department, Building Department, and Department of Public Works.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion to accept the minutes of December 5th, 2022, December 12th, 2022, and December 14th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion for authorization to pay all approved and audited claims in the amount of $179,967.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. We do have some announcements.
Police report.
Oh, the police report, I'm sorry.
Nothing other than wish you all the best in the holiday season and look forward to working with you again next year.
Good, okay.
Well, for part of the year.
Can I add something too?
Yes.
A couple things. One is, I feel as a village, we're very fortunate to have a couple organizations. One is the fire department, all volunteer fire department. Two is, the ambulance corps, all volunteer ambulance corps, 24/7. And then number three, the police department. I have felt, I live right in the village, I feel very safe all the time with the police. I know most of the guys, I see them, and I'm very comfortable with the staff, very comfortable with the chief. I'm a driver for the ambulance, and most of the time, the police are there before we get there to open up the door, to show us what's going on, kind of give us a description of the situation. A couple weeks ago, I was on a cardiac arrest call in the village. 4 officers were there. They beat us. 4 officers were there for this serious call. They are all trained in the AED machine, they did the defibrillator machine, they started compressions, and when we got there, we just kind of handled it, but I tell you, I was very impressed with the 4 officers that came. One was Officer Brazier, one was Officer Ryan. I don't remember the other 2, but I just want to give a shout out, Chief, how important they are, to the ambulance calls, and very helpful, and they know what to do, and very impressive. It's a great partnership. So thank you for that.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's, it's what we signed up for, but
Yeah.
it's definitely, in a community like Warwick, it's, it's more personal too. Most of us live here or around here, and there are neighbors as well.
Yeah.
So, it's our pleasure to, serve with the other organizations
yeah.
and try to make a difference around here.
Yeah, you certainly do.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I'm back at you for the 2 other hats that you wear.
Carly, do you want to give us the announcements?
The Christmas Eve sing-along will take place on Saturday, December 24th, 2022, at 5 p.m. at the Old School Baptist Meeting House. The Village of Warwick's annual Apple Eve event will take place on Saturday, December 31st, 2022, on Railroad Green, beginning at 11:30 p.m., in time for the dropping of the apple at midnight. Everyone is invited to welcome in the new year. Bring your noise makers, wear masks, use social distancing, and join the fun. The apple was created by John Redmond and made its debut in 2017 to welcome in the village's sesquicentennial year. Apple Eve has since become a beloved tradition. We hope to see you there.
Great, thank you, Mayor. And the sing-along, which is, again, another beloved tradition, will be inside the Old School Baptist Meeting House. So through COVID, we did a video recording of a sing-along. That was the first year, and then the second year and it was on Facebook, and it still is. And then the second year or last year we did it outside of the meeting house, in front of the meeting house. So I know that people will be very excited to be back within the meeting house, and just it's a wonderful, wonderful place and ambiance, and it really makes people very excited, and really gives them the spirit. So in more ways than one.
I have an announcement also.
Okay. Yes.
This announcement has to do with the Christmas tree pickup. The Village of Warwick Department of Public Works will pick up Christmas trees. The trees must be placed by the curb prior to Monday, January 9th to ensure removal. Trees may also be dropped off until January 31st at the Town of Warwick chip site located at 65 Public Works Drive, Warwick.
Great. Under correspondence this evening, we have a letter from Orange County Department of Planning, comments on the review of proposed local law number 1 of 2023 to amend the table of use regulations in the Village of Warwick zoning code to allow upper story dwelling in light industrial district. And the second is the Village of Warwick Planning Board's comments on the review of proposed local law number 1 of 2023 to amend the table of use regulations in the Village of Warwick zoning code to allow upper story dwelling in the light industrial district as well. We'll move on to motions, and Trustee Cheney.
Number 1, resolution adopting negative declaration under seeker. Whereas the Village Board of the Village of Warwick has before it a draft local law entitled "A Local Law to Amend the Village Code by Revising the Table of Uses in the Zoning Code to add residential apartments above commercial space as a permitted use in the light industrial district, conditional upon planning board approval. And whereas this is an action subject to seeker, and whereas the Village Board, as lead agency in an uncoordinated review, i.e. as the sole involved agency, has prepared and approved an environmental assessment form and has caused to be prepared an EAF Part 2 and Part 3. And whereas following due notice, the Village Board has conducted a public hearing on the said proposed local law and heard all persons interested in the subject matter thereof. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, that the Village Board adopts Part 2 and Part 3 of the EAF and authorizes the mayor to sign the same. And 2, that after considering all of the information presented to it, including the EAF, the Village Board adopts the negative declaration attached hereto.
Second.
Okay.
Trustee Cheney?
Yes.
Trustee Foster?
Yes.
Trustee McKnight?
Yes.
Trustee Lindberg?
Yes.
Mayor Newhart?
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, resolution adopting Village of Warwick local law number 1 of 2023. Whereas the Village Board has before it a proposed local law entitled "Local Law to Amend the Village Code by Revising the Table of Uses in the Zoning Code to add residential apartments above commercial space as a permitted use in the light industrial district, conditional upon planning board approval." And whereas following due notice, the Village Board held a public hearing on the proposed local law. And whereas seeker review on the proposed local law has been completed, and the said local law was duly referred to the County Planning Department under General Municipal Law, Section 239M, and to the Village Planning Board under the Village Code. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the Village Board hereby adopts the said proposed local law, and 2, that the said local law shall be effective upon publishing, posting, and filing of the same in the office of the Secretary of State in Albany.
Second.
Just a question. It says local law number 1 of 2023.
Well, it seems that if you go to file your local law with the Secretary of State and it gets there after the end of the year, they insist on you calling it number 1 of 2023 instead of 2022.
Okay.
So it's possible
Thank
that you'll get there before the end of the year with this, and if that's the case, then it'll be local law, whatever it is, of 2022. But it was anticipated that it would, so that's
Yeah.
why we...
Good. Just wanted that clarified. Thank you.
Okay, we have a second.
Trustee Cheney?
Yes.
Trustee Foster?
Yes.
Trustee McKnight?
Yes.
Trustee Lindberg?
Yes.
Mayor Newhart?
Yes.
Number 3, resolution adopting negative declaration under seeker. Whereas the Village Board of the Village of Warwick has before it a draft update to the village's comprehensive plan and whereas this is an action subject to seeker, and whereas the village board is lead agency in an uncoordinated review, i.e. as the sole involved agency, has prepared and approved the full environmental assessment form and has caused to be prepared an FEAF Part 2 and Part 3. Whereas following due notice, the village board has conducted a public hearing on the draft update to the village's comprehensive plan update and heard all persons interested in the subject matter thereof. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, that the village board adopts Part 2 and Part 3 of the FEAF and authorizes the mayor to sign the same. 2, after considering all of the information presented to it, including the FEAF, the village board adopts the negative declaration attached hereto.
Second.
Trustee Cheney?
Yes.
Trustee Foster?
Yes.
Trustee McKnight?
Yes.
Trustee Lindberg?
Yes.
Mayor Newhart?
Yes.
Number 4, whereas the village board of the Village of Warwick has prepared a draft comprehensive plan update pursuant to Village Law Section 7-722, and whereas the village board has held a duly noticed public hearing on the comprehensive plan update and received comments from the general public, and whereas the village board has referred the draft comprehensive plan update to the Orange County Department of Planning as required by General Municipal Law Section 239-M and has received comments back from OCPD, and whereas the village board as lead agency in the seeker review has adopted a negative declaration, whereas the village board finds that it is in the best interest of the village of Warwick to adopt the comprehensive plan update. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, that the village board hereby adopts the comprehensive plan update, and 2, that the village board hereby directs the village clerk to file the comprehensive plan update in her office, and 3, that the village board hereby directs that a report of final action pursuant to GML Section 239M together with a copy of the comprehensive plan update shall be filed with OCPD.
Second.
Okay.
Trustee Cheney?
Yes.
Trustee Foster?
Yes.
Trustee McKnight?
Yes.
Trustee Lindberg?
Yes.
Mayor Newhart?
Yes.
Number 5, motion to authorize payment number 2 to Skyward Electric Company in the amount of $10,973.25 for the Hilltop Pump Station generator installation for work that includes the balance of the contract work less 10% retainage as certified by Village Electrical Engineer Matthew Blake of Blake Engineering PLLC. Funds are appropriated in budget code F.8320.2 in the 2022-23 budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
6, motion to authorize payment number 3 to Skyward Electric Company in the amount of $6,997.50 for the Hilltop Pump Station generator installation for the release of the required 10% retainage withheld from all previous payment applications. The project is 100% complete and has been inspected and approved as certified by Village Electrical Engineer Matthew Blake of Blake Engineering PLLC. Funds are appropriated in budget code F.8320.2 in the 2022-23 budget.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 7, resolution requesting reduction in speed limits on certain roadways in the Village of Warwick. Whereas the Village Board of the Village of Warwick is concerned over traffic safety on Route 94 Maple Avenue, Route 94 Oakland Avenue, and Route 17A Galloway Road within the Village of Warwick. And whereas in order to improve traffic safety on the said roadways, the Village Board proposes that the following changes should be made in regard to the said roadways. Route 94 Maple Avenue, replace the passing lines with solid double yellow lines that do not allow for passing. Route 94 Maple Avenue, reduce the speed limit from 35 miles per hour to 30 miles an hour. Route 94 Main Street, reduce the speed limit from 30 miles an hour to 25 miles an hour. Route 94 Oakland Avenue, reduce the speed limit from 35 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour. Route 17A Galloway Road, reduce the speed limit from 30 miles an hour to 25 miles an hour. And whereas the said roadways are under the jurisdiction of the New York State Department of Transportation, and therefore, In order for the said changes to be made, it is necessary to obtain approval from DOT. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. That the Village Board of the Village of Warwick does hereby request that the Orange County Department of Public Works and the New York State DOT approve and allow the aforementioned changes to be made to the said roadways in the Village of Warwick. And two, that the mayor is authorized to prepare and sign such documents as are necessary to request that the said changes be made.
Second.
Okay. Any comments? No.
I guess only that, for those that were not privy to the working session that we had with New York State DOT, as part of that meeting, we expressed concerns about the speed limit on their roadways, in addition to other concerns, but they specifically let us know that, it would be a fairly simple, that was their communication,
We'll see.
process to reduce those speed limits, and that we needed to submit a request for them and to them, and that they would subsequently look at it and hopefully move forward with reduction of the speed limits to match our other speeds and speed limits already in the village. Although the exceptions to that are going to be Oakland Avenue and Maple.
Okay.
Okay. Trustee Cheney?
Yes.
Trustee Foster?
Yes.
Trustee McKnight?
Yes.
Trustee Linder?
Yes.
Mayor Newhart?
Yes.
Number 8, motion to close Railroad Avenue for the benefit of the Village of Warwick Apple Eve event on Saturday, December 31st, 2022, from 9 p.m. to Sunday, January 1st, 2023 at 12:30 a.m. Village of Warwick DPW to place no parking bags on the meters beginning at 7 p.m.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to grant permission to the Albert Wisner Public Library to use the east side of Stanley Deming Park to hold the Children's Book Festival on Saturday, October 7th, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. as per their letter dated November 17th, 2022. Permission to include 3 food trucks to be parked on the grass between the creek and the handball courts on the west side of the park. Additional 6 to 8 garbage cans placed near the food trucks and festival tents. A 3 by 14-foot banner to be hung on the fence to the right of the main entrance of Stanley Deming Park, facing the intersection of South Street and Parkway, from Sunday, September 24th, 2023, through Saturday, October 7th, 2023. Festival tents to be set up beginning at 9 a.m. on Friday, October 6th, 2023, and removed by noon Sunday, October 8th, 2023. Use of Stanley Deming restrooms, Uncle Brothers Band to perform a children's concert under the bandstand from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. During the event, in coordination with DPW Supervisor Mike Moser, use of designated parking in the large section of the grass behind the basketball courts, and additional temporary accessible parking spaces designated by the village on Parkway, close to the entrances of Stanley Deming Park. Approval is contingent upon providing the Village of Warwick with certificates of insurance, naming the village as an additional insured from all food truck vendors at least 30 days prior to the event, and obtaining permission of the Warwick Valley Central School District to use the Park Avenue School for parking, and providing such documentation 60 days prior to the event. Completed facility use permit, proof of insurance, and security deposit have been received.
Second. You have a discussion on this?
Sure.
So, I was there this past one. It really was a great event. And the quality of the authors that it attracts to come sign the books for the children is just excellent. I noticed the parking on the lawn wasn't super clear. I think
Okay.
some people figured it out. There wasn't a concept of lanes and, Mike, what would you suggest in terms of, I guess, getting some order to the,
Well, it was
The whole
a trial
thing.
run this time, so
Yeah.
we were just using it as a, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think we need more signage, but the library probably needs to get a couple more kids standing there to direct the people where to go.
Okay.
Started out that parking lot was mostly gonna be used for the authors and then the rollover from the people, but
okay, and the other question I have is, is your crew okay with the extra, however many trash barrels they're gonna be for that? It'll be next day pickup or something?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, better to have extras than overflowing, yeah.
3 food trucks.
Yeah. This is a great event.
It is.
For the village.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that it's really picking up, and I was there for probably less than an hour, but I saw a lot of people there, so that was great.
Yeah, it's well attended, and what I like is that it's an event that brings the arts, literature to our kids. You know, it's really great.
I think it works really well at Stanley Deming as well, just from
Yeah.
a space perspective.
Yeah.
And then the kids can go play, you know. Because I thought it was really nice at Railroad Avenue as well, but it was tight, you know.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And just having the municipal bathrooms is a big deal.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
so, okay. So we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to conduct a special village election to fill an unexpired term due to a vacancy at the Goodwill Hook and Ladder Company, 25 Church Street Extension, on Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. The polls will be open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to hire Savannah DeLucia as part of the four-year 2022-23 special event staff at a rate of $15 per hour for the Christmas Eve sing-along and Easter egg hunt per the recommendation of the Village of Warwick Recreation Director Ron Interini.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to hire Sarah Sullivan in the position of part-time court clerk at a rate of $20 per hour with a start date of December 27th, 2022, for the recommendation of the Village Justice Janine Garitano Wadeson and confirmation of pre-approval from Orange County of Civil Service.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And we do have an addendum.
Motion to accept the proposal for engineering services from Hudson Valley Engineering Associates dated December 15th, 2022 to provide grant application services for the Bridge New York program for the Wheeler Avenue and Memorial Park Drive culverts, and authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with HVE at a cost not to exceed amount of $2,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And under reports, trustee Cheney, do you have something for us?
Yes, I do. I just wanted to report on our reservoirs. As you may or may not know, the reservoirs have been depleted due to a lack of precipitation, and our water department has been watching and reporting on that status since August of this year, early in the month of August this year. Voluntary water restrictions were imposed upon the residents of the village. We also began producing more water from the microfiltration plant and well number 2 to avoid using up the resource we had in the reservoirs. The available capacity in the reservoirs was at its lowest in mid-November, and I'm pleased to report that precipitation over the past weeks has resulted in a very strong recovery, to the point where all the reservoirs could be at full capacity within the next couple of weeks. So it's important to make that recovery, and we were watching it very closely, and we're just thankful that we didn't have to go to greater restrictions than were imposed.
Yeah, we were very lucky. Thank you, Barry. And Carly?
Yeah, I have a couple updates. I met with students from Mr. Atoshian's Youth and Government class at Warwick Valley High School on December 7th. I met with them to talk about their perspectives on how local government can better engage the public, how they feel youth could be engaged in local government, as well as to get some feedback on the Memorial Park master planning process. And there were about 25 kids, I think, that were there, and they ranged from 9th to 12th grade. And they talked about their favorite outdoor activities, which mostly included walking and talking with friends, hiking, running, biking, horseback riding, kayaking, paddleboarding, crew, sledding, and lacrosse. But they shared some really good feedback that I thought was good to share with the board about kind of different ways that they might like to be engaged. And I broke them into categories, and I can share it in writing.
That would be nice.
If that would, but just some quick highlights. they like the idea of coming to our board meetings.
Okay.
And so.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, so they want sort of a little bit more feedback about when they are. I did let them know, when they happen, but they really like the idea of a newsletter, an opt-in newsletter. Most of them get a lot of their news via email, which was interesting. I didn't know email would still be around at that kind of like age range, But they also like the idea of internships, the idea of a student board. They wanted more connectivity to community volunteering and charity events, which I think connects to some of the other outreach that we've been doing. So.
That's good.
Yeah. And then we also had our second meeting of the Memorial Park Master Plan Committee last Monday, the 12th. And the group provided some really good feedback, again, about things that have been suggested for the park. And I sent out a survey for like a deeper follow-up, and we've gotten 12 responses to that so far. I just sent it out yesterday and have gotten some really deep, good feedback.
Great.
And then I guess I'll stop there. We can provide updates on that. I've been talking enough.
No, but I just want to say, you've been doing a remarkable job with that committee. It's a big committee, and so that is more like herding cats a little bit. But I'm very impressed with your ability to keep it on task, and that's a very important thing when you have a committee that large. So
Thank you. It's a great group of people. We
It
have
is,
great
yeah.
people within the village, and they're very passionate, and just like with the comp plan committee, really wonderful group.
Yep. Thank you. And Bill,
Oh, I'm good.
you're
Thanks.
good. Okay. And Tom?
Yes, a couple things. So the Village Planning Board, I just want to say that I think they did a great job with their participation in the comprehensive plan review. Some of the feedback that we really took action on was from the planning board.
Yeah.
Also, preparing the seeker to make sure there's no adverse environmental impacts was super helpful. So I just think they're doing a great job. So I wanted to recognize them for that. Moving on, so the library will close for the holidays on Saturday, and it will reopen again on Tuesday. Another thing is, we met with Orange and Rockland. Mike Moser, thank you for your help on that. But what ONR did was they wanted to look at some of our wastewater treatment facilities and waterworks facilities to try to identify any areas where we could potentially reduce the energy consumption and therefore reduce the costs. So for them, it would help lower the peak demand, which is a good thing so they can service all the customers. For us, it's potentially a very good thing because we might be able to get some assistance in terms of finding some energy efficiencies at no cost to the village. So they came out, they walked through some of our facilities. They're going to need to come back, but they have a few ideas of how they can help out. So I thought that was really a good example of the partnership that we can have with some of these entities like ONR.
Were they offering to help fund the energy efficiencies, or?
100%.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
great.
Because there's also the one thing for us as we're identifying energy efficiencies, the Inflation Reduction Act just came out with their whole list of all of the different programs,
Yeah.
and many of it is associated with energy efficiency.
Yeah, so
can
they
follow
are,
up
I think they have their own targets to meet. Just for example, in one of the facilities, they'll replace all of the lights with LEDs. So that'll lower it instantly. And then there are more involved things such as potentially replacing some portions of the equipment that are a really big draw on energy. So it'll take someone with some engineering skills from ONR to come back out and to really look at these. But I just thought it was great they reached out to us. And Mike, thank you for helping to track down the keys and people to show them through. So that was very helpful. The last thing I'll say is that the Climate Smart Communities Task Force, we had another meeting, and with the passage of the comp plan tonight that has sustainability elements in it, we are far beyond where we need to be to earn the first level of certification. The deadline to submit that to the state is January 6th. So now that we have this, once I get meeting minutes, I'll enter that as part of the documentation. So just so everyone understands, there's a portal I've been uploading all the documentation of what we've been doing. We're partnering with the Hudson Valley Regional Council, who's been extremely helpful, and they are experts at this, and they offer guidance about where we can, submit for certain actions. So I anticipate that we will hear back mid-February about the bronze certification, which would make us the first in Orange County to do so. The first municipality. Orange County has it, but no other town or village has it. So it'll be great, I think, to lead by example.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was looking at the map online of all the municipalities, communities that are climate smart communities. And so I went to Orange County, and it was like, wait, where is everybody? And it was pretty shocking, and in Westchester, there was like, plenty of bubbles or whatever, on
Well,
those
they could
maps.
also hire people to do some of that.
Yeah, that's true.
work, so.
Yeah, they're much more affluent communities, and they can do
Yeah,
that too.
yeah.
So, but Westchester has always been, I think, ahead in terms of.
But this will
environmental
put us in the
issues.
top 7% of municipalities in New York State.
Yeah.
Tom, can you remind the board and the public some of the benefits of this? Because there's financial benefits, there's giving us opportunities for grants.
Yeah, so it's really the Climate Smart Community is a program sponsored by New York State where it's a point-based program. You earn certain points by completing actions, and the more actions you complete, you become eligible for grants and assistance. So we're trying to build some of that momentum. It overlaps with another New York State program called the Clean Energies Community, of which we are one of the designated communities.
That's right.
So certain actions we take, such as replacing the streetlights with LED, that Barry's been working on for a long time, and it's finally, it's near, right? I think we're about 50% of the way through. So that's an example of excellent work from, people have come before us, but now it's just about documenting it and see if we can get more assistance from the state or even county.
I know you did some outreach to the schools. Is that component, still a possibility?
Certainly a possibility. I haven't spoken to them yet. I know, Carly, you probably had some initial conversations, but what we've done is we've identified a couple of actions, like a climate vulnerability assessment, for example, that we could really, if the students were interested and wanted to participate, we can certainly use their help. I think it would be good for them to have that kind of experience. It would be good for us because we can involve them and get after some more of those actions. But
That would be
that's
great.
that's part of the strategy, is to involve the local students.
I did forget to mention something about the youth and government meeting. They asked if we would be willing to kind of come in and provide like a little monthly update and talk about, and so I agreed to do that. And but I think it would be great if like other
Maybe we could share.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
and like look for specific feedback and tell them opportunities to get involved, bring projects that they can get involved in.
Steve looks like he's really,
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
It's, giving them your time though is you're gonna have to, at some points, there's only so much Carly to go around.
That's funny.
Tom, you're gonna be in the same boat. Climate smart stuff's great though, you should be proud of yourself.
yeah.
So that'll be good. So I'll submit that as soon as we have the documentation after today, and then
I figured you had the application already ready to go.
it's teed up.
It's teed up, okay.
He's
It's
done a
teed
lot
up.
of work.
Yes,
actually.
you have.
It's
It's been impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you.
need 120 points to qualify, and I think we have around 200.
Wow. And what's the level of silver? What is that?
So first of all, there is no gold. So just bronze or silver. Silver is 300 points, and that would, if we got to that point, which I think we can, we would be in the top half of 1% in the state
Wow.
in terms of municipalities. So there's a lot of work that's involved there.
Yes, it is, yeah.
And we have a really good task force. I'm thrilled to say I'm probably the least qualified on that task force, because we have people who really work in the field.
Yeah.
They bring a lot to the table. But I would say we are looking for more people who are interested in. I see this task force as being something that's pretty fluid. I shouldn't be on that for the long term. I'm kind of chairing it at the moment, but I would love to see engaged residents who really have a passion for this want to take this up, carry the flag. So I'm happy to get us to this first level and keep going. But if anyone's interested and wants to be more involved, please reach out.
Very good. Thank you. I don't have a report per se, but I just want to wish everyone, on behalf of the village board and the entire staff and our DPW, I want to wish our Jewish friends and neighbors a happy Hanukkah. This is the second night. And also a very Merry Christmas to all our Christian residents. And to all, a very happy New Year. And we have final comments from the floor. If anybody would like to address the board, this is the moment. Yes. Please,
Anybody else?
please state your name.
Okay, hi. I'm Miss Tyler. Chrissy. My mother was here 20 years. I would like to make a general statement of protest. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this. My mother was a resident here for 20 years. I've been here she's just under, I'm here a little longer than that. I have an ongoing hardship. I appreciate the meeting here and your openness to receive the public. I've read the messages on the board. I was encouraged at one point with the fair housing and some of the positive things that I've seen. When I obtained my associate degree on the college campus just over 10 years ago, that's when this hardship began to really foment. And it has not ceased. It keeps getting stronger and stronger. So my appeal and my protest is that I have an ongoing hardship which infracts my human rights utterly. I'm not going to speak for my partner here, but my mother being a resident 20 years, I have been over here over 20 years in this town and the village, and I've had a lot of good care, including from the PD, where we've registered some of these ongoing things. But the protest is, at some point, I need to get legal counsel. I have been denied. I don't know how to get legal help in Orange County. It's just not happening. I've been up to try to address the DA and other, it just keeps getting blocked. So at some point, I would like to bring this matter to the board at whatever point I can pull this together. It may be upon leaving and getting help. We keep trying to get to our relatives. My mother has family on both sides of the state, and I can't even get there yet, and I'm trying to get there. So I just want to leave, I guess, a blanket statement that I feel that I would want to address the board on a number of items that I've been pulled into without proper access or benefit, and what it would pertain to. I can't give you the specifics right now, but I think that has some ties to your decision, and I don't know all the wherewithal or anything, of the adopting a negative versus a positive. I think I've been pulled into some of that, and I've had no proper way to be involved, have access, have participation. So I know that's very generalized. So just basically thanks for allowing us, the ability of us to be here and participate, and that at some point I will be presenting something to address some of this seems seemingly nebulous, but on a very large scale, I believe.
Okay.
My concerns and my need to advocate for myself. There's a whole lot I could say, but I've got a whole bunch of human rights that my subsidy was stolen at my home. The apartment I had when my mother lived over across from Pond Hill, I had a subsidy at the Creekside, and that was taken away from me. So, thank you, and I will be getting back to you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I got nothing to say.
Yes, sir.
I share the same situation, and I wish the best for everybody, and once, if I'm probably leaving for a while to go to school for what I'm meant to do, and from God, I plan to come back and want to help come back and make Warwick a much better place than it's been so far, ever been so far.
Okay.
I wish you all the best, I wish the holiday, the whole thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate it. And thank you for coming to the meeting. We appreciate that, too. So may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting this evening?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we are still being streamed live, so I'm gonna go into the other room and stop the recording. Just a moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good night. Good night. Happy holidays to you, Chief. Yeah. Thank you.
You too.
Good to see you.
Charlie?
Happy holidays.
Okay. Chief, keep those roads fair.
Thank you. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Steve. Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas.
Hi, Happy New Year.